as well. Now, obviously, for those who don't know, every Sundays or every weekends, I tend to go live. So I'll be going live because that way I can give more longer, longer slash visual videos of whatever topic that I'll be discussing, right? So understand that every Sunday or whenever it's a weekend, just check your YouTube and check your post notes. I'll be posting stuff, right? Because that way, guys, we can also relate and connect more through the live, right? But to not really waste much of your time, guys, you saw the thumbnails, and I wanted to discuss about the sensitized version of Superman, right? And I didn't really want to watch that movie of Superman, and I could have went to the usually Superman movies because Superman for me, that was I'm not talking about the new Superman, the not the 2025 Superman, like through whole creation of that character of Superman, it was always been my one of my interesting character that I find to be interesting and also I like, right? Because he's for the people, he's the help for the people when all hope is gone, when nothing seems to be really working with the government and everything, then Superman comes ahead and helps people, right? He helps the weak, he's the strength for the weak. He's the voice for those who do not speak up, right? He's the light in the darkness, right? And he is the strength for the weak. Right, so that's everything up. That's how I understood Superman. Right now, the creator of Superman might tell you, it was just for fun, but the way we view the character of Superman, his character traits, right, including strength, including courage, because Superman he'll go through almost anything, even though knowing he might die, but he's still gonna take the risk, and also the ability to bring order and structure into chaos, right? So when the world is full of dinosaurs, and full of aliens and all kinds of stuff, Superman comes not because he's expected to just show up. This expectancy comes right after people getting used to Superman's help, right? So they expect him to help, but before that, Superman just will do what Superman does, right? Superman is gonna help because that's the right thing to do. And Superman is not gonna sit and be a bitch for the society, right? That's how we knew Superman. Right? At least that's how I knew Superman with comics. I used to read a lot of comics. I used to read a lot of Greek stuff as well. I mean, I'm still into that Greek theology, mythologies, and stuff like that because that's something I resonate to, right? And it's something that has actually also shaped the way I view the world and my vision of understanding myself and the world, right? But this new Superman, though, on the other hand, the 2025 Superman, right? What's going on, Brenda? Nice welcome here. The new Superman, though, the new version of Superman that we are witnessing, that we saw, guys, the 2025 Superman, he's the opposite of what all people, especially even women, all men in general, and all society expected of Superman, right? And the creator of this new Superman, he said he wanted to create something that was more relatable. He wanted to create a Superman that was more of you know everybody, and like a Superman that is more societal, whereby everybody can relate to. And to be honest, as human, like us, the society, we don't care. We really don't care about Superman having to be relatable. Because we want a hero, right? Heroes, we do not, we can't, you cannot relate to Superman because you're not Superman, right? And Superman cannot relate to you. The only thing see, even the name Superman tells itself he's a man that is super to a regular man. So you trying to humanize him, you trying to make him a man, and having him cry, his dog. Man, look, guys, don't watch that movie. You're just gonna waste especially if you have some sense of morals and code and really belief and really, and you're not into this work shit, don't even waste your money. Don't even waste your time. Like take it from me. Like this Superman is completely trash. It was completely trash. And apparently the actors, there were also some homosexuals and stuff like that. So much stuff going on. But like I'm saying that this movie is so much sissistized that compared to the Superman we knew and the Superman that we got today now is very different. You know, see how you say you are a Superman. Like since when a Superman needed a dog for emotional support, you are Superman, and then you need a dog to remind you that hey, you are Superman. Get up your ass and go help people. And Superman, he's steady, he's crying, he's steady crying on the dog is kicking his ass, trying to like a dog, like a really dog, like they had this dog put a thing which was weird. The villain also was like the villain were not really villains. It's like they're fighting Superman on TV on like on a video game as if it's a game. So it's like the movie was just bullshit. The movie was just trash. And I'm not saying this because I'm biased or anything. This is the truth. Like even those people who are woke, they would tell you like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Superman for everybody. Everybody can relate to Superman, but there is no thrill. There is no fun to this. There is no, you know, anything to it. Like the Superman we have is not the hope that we essentially wanted, because Superman, again, the character of Superman was created to be hope for humanity. You know what I'm saying? Which was a representation in reality of man. Because what are we men, guys? Man is like whenever the society is falling apart, this is a fact. You know, like I always say, I live in Canada. Right now, Canada is peaceful because there is men out here on somewhere along the road that I'm making sure that we don't get attacked or no because you can easily get attacked if your country is weak, right? So we're able to maintain peace because we have some men actually somewhere standing and being able to show teeth and fighting wars that we don't have to face. you know there is some activity, there is some, let's say somebody, a kid falls into the toilet, right? It's gonna need a man to go down there, and man, we're gonna happily want to do it. Like we don't mind. Like even me too. Let's say a kid fell into a toilet or whatever, or even a woman, or even a man, or anybody, and I'm asked to go there. I don't mind going into the toilet, into the sewage, and being able to help. Why? Because I understand. I'm like, listen, I want to do this. Like literally, I was created to this. I was created to make the world a better place, and I feel like that's something as men we don't really get. It's the credit that we don't get enough of, because of feminism. Because you have feminism convince you and the work shit, telling you what you do, who you are as a man is not enough, and you have to keep doing and keep. It's like you have to be this machine that has no. It's like you just gotta keep being this weird stuff. And guys, I'm saying that no, that's really not a man is all about. See, again, when you watch the character of the first Superman, not the second Superman, he was what? He was help for the society. He was the one that was doing things that most people are scared to do. Again, he challenging the authority. If they said the authority they're getting out of line, who's gonna actually stand up and say, no, we don't want that. We don't want to be governed like this. We don't want to be led like this. Women can't do that. Women cannot do that. Even though they want to, I mean, it simply can't happen because usually that's why even if you want to change if you want to colonize whatever, you have to go through men first because men are very like our own traits cannot be easily, you know we can't be easily manipulated because something in us just is not gonna buy it, right? Your own blood, your own biology is not gonna accept to be dominated by bullshit, right? Unless if you become like this new Superman, which is, very emotional, very in touch, like they just so much, They want to be understood. They're even scared to do what needs to be done. So the Superman we know, he did what needed to be done. He doesn't, and that's the character of a man. It's like you want to do what needs to be done. The people don't have to like it, and you don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. If you're with your girl in your house and somebody attacks you and the robber comes in the house, you have to do what needs to be done. And it might be cruel, right? It might be it might be something very terrible to do, but you got to get done. The reason why I got to get done is because she's not gonna do it, and you at that point, you the one that has to be able to do it in order to maintain peace and order, in order to protect and serve yourself and help your children and help your wife. But in your case, if you're single, help yourself so you can see another day. But if you're too much close into your emotion, if you're too much into scary of a like a sensitized, well, you're going to simply think that you're gonna call the police and they're gonna come and help you, no, and which we all know that whenever it's actually emergency, whenever you need help, usually police, they come when they come when the danger has already been finished. Like whenever you're getting, like, once you, let's say an intruder comes in your house, and they really break into your house and you automatically call the police. The police is they're gonna come an hour or even 30 minutes after, when the intruder, if probably when the intruder has already left, or you just you're just bleeding out there. Like he's probably stabbed you or he shot you, and you're just bleeding on the floor, and he already left. And when the police come, guess the only thing they're gonna take from you, they're gonna take your reports and they're gonna ask you if you want to press charges, and then can you explain what happened? You say, I don't know, guys, if you see my eyes, it's one time when I got jumped, by three, well, I think it was four. It was and of course I did what I had to do, but like. After that, and it was in a bigger city. It was in a city where you're like, okay, there is always police around here. But nah, when the incident happened, the police came 25 minutes after, right? And when they came, they asked me, oh, you wanna press charges? I'm like, nah, for what? You know what I mean? These people, I don't even know their name. I don't even know where they went. So it's pointless. It's pointless, But why? Because again, you cannot really rely on the authority as a man. Yes, of course, you could cooperate with them, meaning that, again, if you see a child is being molested, you have to stand out and do what you need to do until the police comes, right? You're not just gonna look and watch somebody do the evil doing. No, you have to step up as a man. That's what being a man is all about. Is you see the injustice and you make just. You see the darkness and you bring light to it. You see the evil and you destroy it. You see the lies and you tell the truth, right? And you accept to live and die by that truth. You know what I'm saying, guys? So it's really like that, it's really like that. And we need to really stop watching or listening to stuff that demasculate us, things that actually make you soft day by day. Because if you watch that Superman, yeah, you might relate to. You might say, "Oh yeah, Superman. He feels more human. He feels more. He can get sad. He can cry. He can be. He really feels like a human being." And yes, in somebody might tell you, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how a superhero is supposed to be. Superhero is supposed to be vulnerable. But in real life, though, men were not supposed to be vulnerable. I made the video about that before. That being a vulnerable is never good to anybody, to especially men. Because if as a man, if you're vulnerable, that is a weakness, and any weakness in a man, it can be easily exploited by the enemy. Because if I see that, oh, you're very much so emotional. You love your dog so much. All I have to do is take your dog and ask you for $10, and you're gonna do everything to give me that $10 or else you're not. So I can control. When men are overly emotional, you can be easily controlled, and you can be easily manipulated, and you can be easily deceived, and you can be easily tricked Yeah, guess pin what I just said. You can easily be tricked. What is being tricked? Being tricked is you're doing something thinking that's the right thing to do, that's the honorable way to do things. But later on, you come to find out that no, it was actually a trick. Somebody was just trying to have you be their slave, trying to have you be their robot, you know. So you got tricked into doing something that you wasn't supposed to be doing. But they tricked you because in your mind you were just too much connected to whatever thing you was connected to. But all that can happen when you are vulnerable, when you are emotional, just like that Superman, you know like imagine, in order for in that movie again, in that 2025 Superman movie, the Superman had to be tricked in order to save his people. In order to save the world, he had to be tricked into doing it. Meaning he didn't even want to do what Superman that we knew loved to do, which was helping people. You know, he has to be, he has to really be like tricked into being Superman. It's like, and again, I had a thought because I was like, man, maybe there is nothing wrong about that Superman. Maybe that's the representation of the man today. Because what I mean today is they don't want to be men. They don't want to have a voice. And if some of them have a voice, they like to simply just, yeah, what's going on, people? What's going on, Ethan? Shout out to you guys. Thank you for being here. You know, it's a pleasure. It's always an honor. You know. But so most people, most men, nowadays it's like they want to be tricked into being men, meaning somebody has to, like, they don't want to be men, they don't want to take responsibilities. They don't really want to face the danger that, instead they want to hide. They want to do the easy soft stuff, just like that Superman. So maybe that Superman is the representation of the man today. And the old Superman that we knew, which was of hope, was the representation of men back in time, right? Again, not all men, but like the reason why I'm saying that is that when Superman first entered the Marvel, no, the DC, you saw that those in the early, in the 1950s, you see that even men, some men during those time were actually the majority of the men were they there for the family. They really provided for the family. They were the protector. They were the leaders. They were the order bringer. They were the civilizers. They were the strong men of the society. They helped the society. They was there for the society, right? So you come to find out that okay, you come to find out that okay, so maybe each generation, with this hero, because heroes, these are the people we look up to. Just like I said about the Greeks, the reason why I read more about the Greeks and study more about the Greeks is because, I'm fascinated by their stories. When I read about, Hercules, I like that. When I read about Achilles, I like that. So I'm very fascinated with their stories and the God's pantheology. Why? Because it's something I resonate to, something that I'm like, wow, I look up to and I'm admired by it, right? So maybe also the Superman of that time, it was really about what was going on during that time. And what was going on during that time in 1950s, or to moving forward, is that men wanted to be men. Men wanted to take charge of the household and of the society. Meaning if you was doing some dumb shit, another man will look at you and be like, nah, look what you're doing some dumb shit. If you, let's say you was eating a banana and you throw it on the ground, another man will actually tell you to pick it up, and you would pick it up because otherwise, he will lie you down. That used to happen. But today, if I'm eating a banana and I just throw it down, another man might just look at me and they might just pass me, which is dumb. But it's not that they can't say nothing. They just want to maintain peace. They don't want to, they really don't want to, like, they don't want to upset something. They don't want to say something that they don't want to be, confrontational. They don't want to cause any conflict, right? So, no, to them women are men. today. I mean, woman is, it has be. It's not that today women are men. It's just that men became more feminized and women became more like the society praises more and more women. What I mean is that so the society wants a woman to be confident, like the society wants a woman to be assertive, the society wants a woman to be aggressive even. It's like, nah, you gotta go, you go for it, go. So the society is praising a woman to really be that which is a man, meaning like as a man, you want to have a voice, not just a voice, but you want to have affirmative action. You want to be able to take action with whatever you do. Now, for men, that is seen as bad. You see what I'm saying, brother explorer? Like, that's essentially being a man. A man, you have to be assertive, you have to be aggressive in life, meaning if you want something, you have to go for it. If you see a woman, you want to talk to her, like I already said, do not hide behind the skirts, your own skirts of your mama. No, you go and talk to her, present yourself, let her reject you or let her say no, let her say yes. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is you took an action and you went there. But unfortunately today, we have the world shaming men for being that. The world is shaming men for being aggressive, for being assertive, for saying no, meaning as a man, you just have to be passive. Like today's masculinity is that Superman of 2025, you know, and the right of that, it was a gunman, and they say his name is Gunman White, something like that, you know, and they say that he wanted to make a Superman that was more relatable, and guys, men, we don't need to be relatable to society. Like this, the society do not like women don't need to relate to you. You don't need to relate to a woman because you're not a woman, you know. So you see that things that is masculinity and things that back in time men of our ages used to see as masculinity, honor, integrity, duty, duty to your family, duty to your people, duty to your society. Meaning a duty to your society, it means that if you see two people fighting, you go there, you say, hey, you separate them, right? Your duty is to maintain peace until you call the authority or whatever. We no longer have that. You know, we no longer have, and matter of fact, it is shamed for you to be a man. And woman, it is praised for women. It is shamed for women to be women, meaning for a woman to be feminine is seen as bad. Even other women, they encourage them to be just like men. They want to wear like men. They want to talk like men. They even have classes to train their voice to be dominant, to be deep, and to be more, you know, like assertive, just like a man. So meaning they're taking time to really learn to be a man. The society is present that, and these things are actually very destructive to the society today. The society whereby a man and a woman we live in, right? Because me myself, I love women, but I don't love a woman who is like me because I'm not a homosexual, so I don't look for a man. I don't go around looking for a man. Now if I run into a woman that is she's just like me, then there is no need for me to even talk to her 'cause she's just like me. I'm like she's already been mentally brainwashed, you know, because what men seek and what women seek in a man is very different. You know, see where men seek femininity, obedience, and nurturing, and really being taking care, and as a woman, right, being able to take care and being able to listen. Women on the other hand, they're seeking strength, they're seeking power, they're seeking you know a man that is able to really be dutiful, to be honorable, meaning she can trust you, she can. So you see that these things, the society banishing away is really shaming them from men. And you actually being this, it turns you into a rebel, it turns you into this bad guy. But guys, me I already said that if you know yourself to be a man, then you must understand, and you have to be able to live and be willing to die for that. Because you have to know that if you're not a man, what else are you gonna be? You can't be a woman because that there is a position, there is those who are already, there is women who already are in those positions. Matter of fact, if you even try to transition yourself into a woman, you're still gonna feel miserable. So what I'm saying is that the more you embrace it, see, I became more happy the more I embraced who I was, the more I embraced my masculinity, the more I embraced my voice and my balls. The more I embraced who I was, the more I became more happy because that means I started taking actions that meant something to me. I started living life that meant something to me. If I wanted something, I don't care whatever the society has to say, I will go for it. If I don't like something, I don't care what my mom or my dad going to say. I'm going to tell them I do not like that. Right now, it might come off as me being disrespectful, but no, I understand that as a man, I have to be able to speak up. You know, I have to be able to understand and rise up to that. You know, and my brother Explorer, you said they are not happy with the way God created. Yeah, I mean, the we have to understand that even though people don't like to see this, but we live in a world full of darkness and light, right? Meaning there is ways of God, which is life, the way God created us, human being. It's the way of life, meaning even animals understand that, listen, there has to be a man and a woman to enable to make more life. But it's only humans that are more confused with that, you know. And human like to always change, and be something they're not, which is what man we exist, because man we exist to bring light to that. You exist to say, no, I'm not gonna be a woman. I'm gonna remain a man, and that's it. And now some women though they have to take a responsibility on their part to say, listen, for the honor of God and for the glory of God. I'm not, if you're a Christian, and even when you're an atheist, you got to think about this, right? You got to think about this. If you're becoming a woman, you know, and the woman she's becoming you, then who is going to really be with who? Because trust me, women do not like feminized men, even though publicly they might say claim they do. No woman likes a bitch. That's why you see, women they will say, "Oh, we don't like to be controlled." But then read about control in the books. They say we don't like to be structured, to be told what to do. But whenever she hits the fan or whatever, actually some things needs to get done, and you tell her what to do, she will understand, and things will get done because you told her what to do. So again, that's why I'm saying that you as a man, you don't even have to do it for God. You don't even have to do it for a woman. You first of all, you have to really be able to do it for yourself. It's the same thing that I tell the woman. I say, I don't like a woman. I don't want a woman to obey me just because it was written on the Bible. You know, I don't want her to respect me just because in her mind she think I'm just a man. Oh, because I'm a man, I needs to be respected. No, yes, my respect. She needs to look at me and see me as a man she can respect. You know, and I have to be that man that is full of honor, that is worth of respect. You know what I'm saying? Like you cannot ask for respect when you yourself you're not a honorable man, when you're not a respected man. So for somebody to respect you, see, respect is really earned. It's not demanded. If somebody looks at you and they think you don't deserve the respect, then they shouldn't give you the respect, right? So I do not really like now. Of course, I do believe in the supreme, almighty, powerful God, but I do not like to use him to have a woman to obey me or to be submissive to me. No, I let her do that. She can decide if she wants to be my woman. Cause see, even in the jungle, the female lion the male lion doesn't really force her, and he could, because this is more stronger, but he doesn't need to. She can only look at him, she see him, and she choose him. Right? He doesn't need to go around running around her, and he doesn't need to do that. He simply is. He simply is, and then she comes and falls along. But it's the same thing to do. For us men as well, we cannot be this new 2025 Superman. We have to be that old Superman, the one that was more of a man, the one that was more of a order, hope, structure, and most importantly, harmony. You know what I'm saying, guys? So let's not be fooled by the society. Let's not be fooled by, gender wars and women trying to be men and men trying to be. No, if you know better and knowing better, which is you being a man, meaning stop consuming too much of the red pill stuff. Stop listening too much of that those men hating women. Because come on, man, let's be honest. You cannot love that which you hate. You know what I'm saying? You cannot love that which you hate. So watching red pill, because if you're gonna watch, because most of the red pill, what they do, they complain about women. And complaining, it's a feminine trait because men, we get shit done. Like, let's say if I'm facing injustice, what do you think I'm gonna do about that? I must do something about it. I can't be talking about it. I can't be saying, oh, when women they mess up men who get married. No, no, no. Like I've been hearing that shit from the red pill for days, right? And they still haven't did nothing about it. I'm not seeing no laws. I'm not seeing no men rising and saying, okay, guys, we want these laws to be checked in. We want this law to be changed. The only thing they do, actually, women are becoming more of the manly type. Why? Because women, they see the feminists, they getting shit done, and this red pill or the men that we so call man, they only talking. You know what I'm saying? So women hate men more than no women don't hate women. Again, women they do not hate men. But the feminists do hate men, hate men. Like when I'm saying the feminist, you know, it is real. And the feminists, for me, I do believe these are satanic people because the satanic people they want nothing to do with with the natural order of life, right? They hate that, So the feminists for me is like these are like the agents of Satan because they work for and they really work for the evil. And I'm not talking about the feminists who started the woman who started in really fighting for war for being for equality of being able to work and being able to earn their own money. Like I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about women who just want to destroy man, right? Women who just want to really get rid of man and become man. Like the feminists, they hate men, you know. So because of that, it makes them very anti-life. Because if I hated a woman, like right, if I look at a woman and I hate a woman, then how am I gonna make a life with a woman that I hate? How are we even gonna raise children together with somebody that I hate? Right? It's the same thing. See, a feminist, if she hates me, right, and I get her pregnant, my kid's gonna be living in hell. And not just my kids, but also, I mean, I'm a man. I don't really get pinned down like that. But you're gonna find out that there's really not gonna be no structure. There's not gonna be the feminine that the child need, and there's not gonna be a masculine that the child need. So the child gonna grow up, you know, TikTok raised and brain fucked, and that's not good for life, and that's really not good, you know. So that's about that, man. That's about that, guys. It's that. Let's not buy into this woke shit. Let's not buy into this society, telling us and trying to change us into something we're not. If you claim yourself to be a man, and remember, guys, nobody's born a man. You have to become a man, meaning you have to actually do things. You can't just listen to things. You have to be about it. You can't talk about being a man. You definitely have to be a man, meaning you have to have a voice. You have to have balls. You have to have balls of steel, and also you have to have a backbone, meaning you have to be able to stand on shit. You know, if you say you want a family, and you say you want and if you say this is how you want things to be done by you, you shouldn't really break it down. Again, if it's not an endanger to society, meaning if it's not be making other people's life in danger, then you should be able to live and die for it. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to live and die for it. So if you say, no, in my house, A woman must respect me. A woman she has to listen. And of course, again, you don't have to force her, but you set that as a law. Even if God from heaven comes to you and it tells you to change that way, you shouldn't change it. You have to be able to stand on that, because that's just how you operate. That's just how you do things, you know. So as a man, that's what you guys have to understand. You have to have balls. Meaning you have balls is equivalent to courage. What is courage? It's the ability to do something even when you're scared. It's the ability to really be able to face danger head on. You don't wait. You don't sit and just be there. No, you actually face it. You face the dragon before it reaches your house. That's courage. You know, you don't wait for the dragon to come flying around your castle and burning your house down. No, you go to the dragon's den where the dragon lays its head. So you seek the dragon now, and you deal with it over there. And it's the same thing with us guys. So don't hate women, love women, cherish women, but do not get like be a man about it, meaning state your law. You know what I'm saying? Like do not be don't listen. Being a man is sweeter than wine, because when you're a man, you get to run, you get to dictate your own life, and you get to choose a woman of your own liking. Meaning you get to choose a woman that likes you and that you like. And not just that, you get to have better friends because you become more clear. And when people they're dealing you, they come knowing what they're gonna be dealing with. You know. So a lot of a lot of them hate themselves. Yeah, that is true. Most women never had a father, but see, not all women are bad. Just like not all men are bad, good. Because usually most men are pussies and bums, and usually most men are not really raised by their father neither, right? And most women too, also, they're not as good. But again, that is a work that individually we all have to do. A woman, she has to really, like, if she really want a man, she has to be able to understand that nah, being and behaving like a man is not gonna get you a man. No man wants a woman that behaves like a man. And as a man, you have to also understand that no, behaving like a woman, gossip and trying to be just like a bitch, it's not gonna get you a woman. Women do not like women. Women like men. And you being able to be straight, being able to be honest, being able to have honor, and being able to stand on business, that's actually gonna get you a woman. And it's actually gonna get you a woman that is your type, because she gonna know this is the kind of like I want a solid man. I want a rock. I don't want a baby. So when you like that, she gonna embrace you and she gonna like you because you. But whenever you're trying to change yourself, you're trying to get a jawline, trying to do a lip balm and chase beauty and be all these, Homo sapiens, then yes, you're gonna attract women that are only gonna be attracted to that, what you look like, but they're not really gonna be attracted to what is inside you, which is you, the spirit of a man. Yeah. So a woman not having a father and a woman not having a mom, yes, it is an issue, but you have to be a father. You have to be a mom. You have to be everything to that woman. Now, her too, she has to be able to trust you. And that's why I said, like, if a woman don't trust you, then you have to be able to let her go. Because if you keep her around, you guys are gonna simply be fighting 24/7. And no man should argue or fight a woman. And that's really beneath you, and you shouldn't be trying, you know? So, father should stay in Yeah, I mean, a father will stay in the house. Most fathers, again, most fathers, they never really had fathers too. So they don't know. That's why we bring him back. Again, like I always say, you who know better, and you should do better. Like you who know better. Like for me, for example, there's some, stuff I used to do before I knew better. I used to argue with women. I used to really go back and forth and trying to explain to him how things supposed to be. But then I realized I'm like, listen, I'm a man. I can't be going back and forth with a woman. because she's not gonna understand. Just like how I cannot understand how menstruational period cramps and pain. All I see is herself running and turning herself around and around. I can't understand that pain, so I don't expect her to understand me neither. Now, what I can do, I can simply embrace her. Now, if she want to be embraced, I will embrace her. I will show her love that a woman can get from me. But what I'm not gonna do is try to explain myself, my existence to that woman, because she's not gonna understand it. She's not gonna understand it. So all I have to do is be a man, you know, is be a man. And being a man is it's that's all there is, and being a man again, it doesn't mean that you have to be like you have to be this crazy macho. Yes, it is okay being macho, if you're stronger, shit, sh- take pride in that. If you're rich, take pride in that too. There's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that. Men have always been, we've already seek glory. So if people talking crazy about Andrew Tate, oh, he's flashy. Come on now. If you got it, now obviously now it is stupid to be flashy, being flashy and just so you can get women. Also, women cannot notice it. That is being stupid. That's actually being an inferior, you know. So this woman could be like, no, what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. Look, brother. First of all, you need to really get positive. Like you need to like start seeing women in a positive, you know, in a positive, like, because understand negativity is stronger than good. Like evil is stronger than good, because not because goodness is weakness, but the majority of the world is darkness. So if you seek negative in a woman, negativity, that's all you'll find. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I know women lie, and some men lie too, but that still as a man it shouldn't get to you. You know, that's where men we need to work on that, and it is good that you love a woman, me too, I love women. But what's the most important, brother, is that you need to work on that. You have to understand that whenever you look at a woman, see her as your difference. Don't see her as your equal. See her as a woman that she is. And whenever you talk to her with grace of her being a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even take her too much serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't take her too much serious. And just, even your own mama, don't take your own, like, listen, if you're old, if you're like 21, 23, 25, you don't even need to, like, if you 19 plus, you don't even need to take your mama serious. Now, obviously, you can respect her and all that good thing, you know, but you can never take your mama serious, you know. You have a woman. And yes, I do have a woman. I do have a woman. I have a woman. But what I'm saying, guys, is that never do that. Never really take that woman serious. Because the reason why most men today hate women is because they took them seriously. I don't take women that much of serious. All I do is I show up, I present myself, I tell them what to do, and those who want to do it, they will do it. You know what I'm saying? I tell them what to do, and those who want to do it, they will comply. Because come on, just as much as you like a woman, there is a woman that like you, right? So you just have to find that woman that likes you. Are you saying you have a woman? Yeah, I just answered that, my brother. I said I do have a woman. Are you saying you? Are you, yes, some things about your mama that she said, you don't have to take it serious. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to take it serious. You really don't have to take it serious, because I think that there is a certain age where you reach, whereas as a man, you have to really pave your own way, and you have to really start living by your own laws. Now, if your dad is around, you can always ask your dad, and if your dad is actually a man, if he's not a bitch, Because if your dad is another woman, then it's actually going to make you worse than a woman, because he's going to indoctrinate you with more bullshit, right? But if your dad is around, the only person you can actually go to is your dad. The only person that I can actually show you the mountaintop is your dad. No, you can take your father serious. You know what I'm saying? If your father is a man, then you take him serious. But whenever he's talking and you feel like he's just a child with a grown-up beard, then you don't have to take him serious neither. What I'm saying from the beginning, guys, is that people have to earn you and your attention, and meaning for people to actually, like, for you to listen to what people say, you have to sort of admire them. You see what I mean? I do not live in Iran, brother. I live in Canada. But yeah, guys. So I think that's about it today. That's about it today. Again, what's the take for this video, guys? Is that do not be like that 2025 Superman. It is true that it's an example of men today, because men today just they're too much relatable. They like to relate to everything. They want to be compliant of everything. They want to be reminded of their duty. Just like that Superman that the dog had to kick the shit out of so he can finally rise up and go help the city. Do not be that Superman. You know what I'm saying? Do not be that Superman. Be the old way of a Superman of hope. Somebody that the world can look up to, somebody that your parents, your family, your household can look at to. And whenever you go to your grandma, whenever you go to your mom, she gets excited knowing that Superman has arrived. You have to be able to be that man. You have to be, you don't just have to be a man, you have to be a Superman. You know, you have to be able to help those who can't help themselves. You have to be hope for the helpless. You have to be a voice for those who don't have a voice. And you have to be a strength for the weak. And you have to be the light in the darkness. And you have to be order in destruction. Alright, guys, so be Superman. Don't be a sissy. And don't be a bitch. Because remember, when a woman acts like a man, we call her a bitch. And when a man acts like a woman, we call him a bitch. So what's the moral of the story? Do not be a bitch. Be the real Superman. Alright, guys, so thank you for being here, guys. That's the end of the live. And again, Mr. Explorer, thank you for being here, and other people that came here before. Uh, Thank you for being here. Let me see the names. Yeah, Brenda. I suppose it's a lady. I see you again, Brenda. Thank you for being here, Ethan. Thank you for being here. So for whoever that has been with me, guys, thank you for being here. You stay tuned. And also remember, guys, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, if there is any videos, any short forms of video you would like me to make content about, please leave it in a comment in those video and let me know. And I'll see you guys on to the next one. Stay blessed and stay on point. Peace. I'm out.